streets louder.
Okay, so I wasn't really planning on doing a video about this. I was just in here fixing my shifter. Bushing failed on the shifter, and I figured because I have the battery and ECU removed, I'm gonna do the boost leak mod. I've seen a couple people do it different ways. Euro compulsion, they'll say cut this, run a line from here to your intake, plug off this vacuum fitting, but I have an easier way of doing it. So instead of cutting this fitting off here, you can probably heat right here on the T-fitting. Put a vacuum cap here and put a vacuum cap on this guy down here. The bonus to doing it this way, if you want to revert the car back to stock, you just need to run any old rubber hose from here down to here, and it's back to stock. It's that simple. You're not cutting up all of these tubes here, just capping it off here, and you're capping it off down here. So it should create a lot less issues with the system. Like, everything should function completely normally. And the way that the boost is introduced through the system is through this tube right here. So I wouldn't be worried about these fittings here. I hear some people saying these are the reasons why you need to do it, because these guys leak. Well, you have a diaphragm here. The amount of boost that it would leak, if any, would be so minimal. And to do it that way, you're gonna have to replace, it's probably hard to see, but you're gonna have to replace everything back here to make sure that there's no more leaks. I don't think it's worth doing all that. I really don't. For reliability's sake, and just for simplicity's sake. Sorry if it is a little overexposed. It's kind of difficult with the lighting situation in here. Just give this clip a little squeeze. There's two little things there, and you just push either end and pull. If you lightly heat this up, you should be able to pull this plastic off of here. Just slowly heat it. You don't want to melt anything. There we go. That's a little more room to work now. Knocked it over, but there you go. Just like I said, heat it up a little, it will pop right out, and I have no damage to this barb fitting at all. And there you go. You can set that aside. This is probably also reusable. Able to heat this up and buy a fuel line hose clamp. They have no spider gears on it like this. I'll probably insert a picture of one. Put the hose clamp down here, heat this guy up, put this guy back on, and then just clamp the hose clamp down over top so the plastic reforms to the barbs. That will probably work completely fine. So let's just get this fitted back up. Just goes back in like that. A vacuum cap. Cheap gear clamp. You don't want to over tighten it also, because these right here will bite into the rubber and break it. Just like that. Not too tight. You don't want to distort the plastic, and you don't want to distort the rubber from the vacuum cap. That's nice and tight. It can't spin. I honestly in some ways recommend putting the vacuum cap up top, because the rubber they're made out of now is really shitty, and it can crack around here. And then for the bottom down here, you can take this little piece of rubber hose, you remove this hose from here. It might be a little tricky. I get a little stuck. The rubber gets stuck in there sometimes. And also it has a massive barb on it. It's a random bolt I found. It's the exact same size as the hose. Okay, so you can actually probably use this style clamp on here because it's the same one that came off of there. I'm going to personally use a gear clamp just because. Pop this guy back on. Just tighten that up nice and snug. Both on there nice and tight. Look over, make sure it's tight, make sure all your fittings are in. It looks like a mess, but this is all parts for my Mustang in all of these boxes right here. A little sneak peek of that. But these are all parts in here for the Mustang.